You don't sing to feel better. You sing because that's the way you understand life. Blues help you get out of bed in the morning. You get up knowing you ain't alone. Something else in the world. Something been added by that song. This be an empty world without the blues.
And that is a clip from Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. I'm delighted to say that Viola Davis joins us from a luxury hotel somewhere, I imagine. Viola, where are you speaking?
No, my house.
Okay, so where are we speaking to you today?
Los Angeles.
And how is it in Los Angeles today? We hear a lot on the news here in the UK, but what's the scene for, as far as you're concerned there?
Well, I'm in my house all day. So, yeah, the
Yeah.
COVID cases are rising, and how it is in Los Angeles is the way it is in many places.
So if in doubt, stay inside.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. So Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, what an astonishing story, what an astonishing film. Can you just, I've been listening to Ma Rainey's music for the last couple of days, and I think I've found most of the recordings, but what an astonishing voice she had. Tell us about Ma Rainey. Tell us how you got involved with this, Viola.
Well, I'm sort of, connected to the whole August Wilson Century Cycle because
Yeah.
that's been a lot of my career. But also, Denzel called me up on the phone and asked me if he knew anyone who could play Ma Rainey. He really wanted to say, "We want you to play Ma Rainey," but
Yeah.
he didn't say that because he was manipulating a little bit. Him and Todd Black, they're the two producers. So that was the beginning of sort of the wooing period. And then, I wish it were a better story, but finally I said, okay, I'll do it. I'll do it. And I was still doing How to Get Away with Murder. So I was trying to prepare the role at the same time I was doing How to Get Away with Murder. There's not a lot of material out there about Ma Rainey at all, And can I just say with that is there's not a lot of material about her, and that is the case with a lot of Black historical figures. That there are some that made it into the history books, that there's just a plethora of information, and others that might as well have never even existed. So there was only 7 pictures, and I had to rely on a lot of things that other people said about her. Books that were written about somebody else that had something in it about her. And then I had to fill in the blank with everything that I know about women like Ma. But anyway, I got
Yeah.
involved with it because Denzel asked me.
And Denzel Washington, obviously, he came on the show to talk about Fences just before it came out, before of the astonishing success that you had with that movie. So you think that he, all along, he was thinking, I want you to do it. I just don't want to come out and say, please, will you be Ma Rainey?
Oh yeah, I know. I knew it was that. Yeah. Yeah. Because he did the asking, is there anyone else that you know for this role? We're having a hard time casting it. I'm like, really? All these actresses out there, and I'm going, bam, bam. I'm just knocking them off. This. She's great. She's fantastic. Blah, blah, blah. He's like, yeah, 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 okay. And then silence. And then he said, what about you? I said, oh, no, 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 Denzel. This should be another actress who, he was like, really? Oh, okay. And then hung up. And then Todd called right after that. So it was manipulation.
Yeah. How difficult was it to become Ma Rainey? What did you have to do?
Besides gain weight, which really is not that hard when you gain the first 20. But the padding, the teeth, I had to go get fitted for the teeth. I decided on the teeth only because everything I read about her, she had a mouthful of gold teeth. That's all anyone said. And so I said, I'm going to get some gold teeth. And so it was difficult playing someone so bodacious because that's not who I am. I'm not someone who comes into the room and just completely takes up the space. I come into the room and I slowly integrate to the wall. So I think a lot of it was challenging. And then playing someone who's unapologetically a lesbian, unapologetically. all of that was, I wanted to honor all of that. So yeah, it was very difficult.
When your Ma Rainey walks into the room, it's like royalty has arrived, or a state visit from the president, or whoever. Everything stops because Ma Rainey is in the room.
Absolutely. Because she is someone who knows that. That's calculated. That is someone who, everything is in a, it's like the famous saying, if you want to know who I am, don't ask me how I brush my hair or where I live. Ask me what I live for. Or better yet, ask me what gets in the way of getting to what I live for. And what all of these characters in this are living for is significance, is worth.
Hmm.
So if I'm famous, everyone knows who I am. I'm at this recording studio in Chicago. I know everybody in this damn room is making money off of this voice. You're going to know when I walk in the room. You're going to feel my presence. Or another way of translating that is, you need to know that I'm alive. You need to know that I have significance. So yeah, I wanted every time she walked into the room to take up the space. And that's hard because I'm actually really shy, you know.
Also, I want you to tell the story of the recording session, but also as regards this film, if you want to know the kind of woman she was, we just watch you drinking a couple of bottles of Coke. I have never seen anybody drink Coke the way your Ma Rainey drinks Coke. It's aggressive. It's full of respect. It's saying, I am here. It's saying, you can't do anything without me. It's an amazing moment.
It's like, I'm going to take my time and I'm going to enjoy this Coca-Cola before I sing. So basically, it's a moment on my terms, which is something that, here's the thing, Toni Morrison talks a lot about this too, that she wrote, and it's the same thing with August, with agency. And what that means is, when you look at Black characters in the context of white life, then you get things like, we're invisible, we're kowtowing, we're just in a lot of agony and pain. When you actually go into Black communities, you see a lot of Ma Raineys. You see those people, even whether they were in the 20s, whether it was in the 20s or the 30s, like my mom, like my dad, like my aunties, people who were not afraid to cuss you out, people who were unapologetic, people who knew their worth, and it's a weird dichotomy because we always feel like the behavior has got to reflect the times, when in fact, there were a lot of Black people who understood their worth. They just were. And that's the beauty of how August writes, because he writes with that level of understanding of actually who we really are when there were no white people around.
Yes. And my understanding is he would often write in bars and cafes, and
Yeah.
he listened to the voices around him, and he wrote dialogue on scraps of paper and on napkins just to
Mhm.
get glimpses of accents and dialect, which you really get a sense of in this film.
Absolutely, because it's how we talk. It's just how we talk. I mean, if you were with my mom and my dad when he was alive, or if you go down south, it's like the way people talk. They talk, 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 talk. I mean, it literally is like a blues riff, and it's literally like a back and forth sort of racquetball tennis match.
Yeah.
With the sort of musicology to the voice, and banter and pathos and humor and levity and weight. It's everything.
And in this recording session, which is where the movie takes place, your band is there. They're waiting for you. They're playing. And you have a very talented, pushy, uppity trumpeter played by Chadwick Boseman, his last movie, obviously. And I wondered if I could just ask you about Chadwick. He came on the show to talk about 21 Bridges. We just had 50 minutes. We sat in a very small studio, and he was so powerful and so intelligent, and still he was an amazing person to be with. What was it like to do this movie with him when presumably he was very poorly?
It's the same thing, that sort of stillness mixed with that passion, mixed with the sort of fierce, passionate dedication to his work. I keep saying he's a character actor trapped in a leading man's body. You know, he wasn't interested in just being like the leading man in Hollywood. He was just interested in doing great work. That was the beauty of Chadwick. We would go out to eat together as the band and me. We would just go out to eat just as actors, just to talk, just to bond, just to connect. And he was there too, you know, eating, riffing, or whatever. And one of the things he said too is, because some people were asking me, Viola, what do you do when you don't work? And I'm like, take baths? I don't know. And I remember Chadwick saying one of the things that he did was he carried a djembe drum with him all the time. He actually had it that night around his shoulder. And you know, djembe drums are talking drums. That's what they call it in Africa. They talk and they reflect the soul of whoever the player is. And he said, Viola, I just play the djembe drum for me. He said, I make sure I get a room that is, or a house. That's why, you know, he had a house there so that he could play as loud as he wanted to without disturbing anyone. And it's interesting too that one of the things I learned when I was in Africa is the djembe drum was actually used by a tribe that literally would play it to wake God up so that God can hear the deepest wishes of their heart and pour down blessings. So they would play, play, play in the Gambia. And it's interesting that when you were on set in his trailer, you could hear him playing with so much strength and passion, almost like he was calling on God. He was unique. He was one of a kind.
Yes, and a great loss. This is his final picture. Can I ask you, Viola, just before you leave us, when do we get to see your Michelle Obama? Because this is going to be quite something, isn't it?
Yes, it is going to be quite something. I'm shooting it probably in May, Michelle Obama, and it's absolutely the most terrifying undertaking, which sometimes I want to press the rewind button and go, what were you thinking?
Yeah.
But certainly it's another chance to create just a human being that I feel is absolutely beyond interesting.
No pressure. No pressure at all.
No pressure at all. No pressure.
Viola, it's very nice to spend some time with you. Thank you very much, and wish you a happy Christmas and a happy New Year.
You too. You too. Bye.